Hello, hello. I'm not sure if I'm live yet, but if I am, hi. And if I am not, hi. Hello, hello. Okay, I am. Awesome. I'm going to go out of the YouTube channel and just stay in my Zoom and stream some skintuitive awarenesses for you today. So if you are new here, I am Amy Wall. The world knows me as an award-winning skincare expert and energetic beauty visionary, but I'm really just a almost 54-year-old woman who has found a dharma, found a calling in the idea of beauty as an energy and beauty as a muse and beauty as available to all women of all ages, all sizes, and all colors. So there you have it. That description changes from time to time, but I am a stone cold expert in the field of skin. So that's only important to note that if I do lay some facts on you, they are very well researched and they come from, the top of the source or the inside of the source. I've been at this very, very long time. What I'm talking about today, this idea of being skintuitive, right? So it's intuitive, but with the skin as the medium that we draw intuition from. I have been in conversation with these ideas for 40 years. So we have a long background there. And then I was mentored by the formulator who discovered the peptide for the skincare industry. And I was the top esthetician in the United States in 2016. And that's a really good lead-in for today's topic, which is all about going out of your mind. Doesn't that feel good? Because how many times do you feel like you're out of your mind anyways? Today is one of those days for me. I feel very crunchy and scritchy, and I'll tell you more about that. That's an energetic thing. But the topic today is going out of your mind and into the heart of beauty. And so right there, I feel the energy starting to build, and I am an energetic intuitive, so I will be and channel and broadcaster. So I will be responding to the energy of not only the people that are watching live, but everybody that will watch in the future. So if you hang out here, things are not going to be regimental and things are not going to necessarily follow any rules, because if all of these rules, if all of these skincare rules worked, if all of these aging rules worked, why in the bleep are women feeling worse about themselves than ever? Why are skin cancer rates skyrocketing? What is up with that? If all of this sunscreen and all of this knowledge, all of this information was working, well, we would find ourselves in a very different world, but it isn't working, and beauty is broken. And my dear sweet sister called me after my first session. This is my third session. And she said, "What did you mean by beauty is broken?" And I said, "Well, tell me how beauty is working for you." And so then, of course, that opened up a whole nother beautiful dialogue. So this is just a dialogue. There isn't any right or wrong when you hang out with me. This is just my awarenesses. These are my points of views. This is, me offering you a whole different perspective that I hope feels so delicious. I hope it feels like slipping into silk pajamas after taking a bubble bath and shaving your legs and getting into clean sheets. I hope you just go, because that's what beauty can be like. It can be sensory, and it can be sensual, and it can invoke joy, and it can magnetize and inspire. That's what beauty is. That's what real higher self beauty is, this connection to source. So back to today's topic, going out of your mind and into the heart of beauty. I started talking about it last week. We talked a little bit about, the difference between a routine and a ritual, which is merely intention, and started kind of diving into that a little bit last week. But since then, I have been going through a lot myself. Now, of course, we have a lot of astrological aspects at play. We've got good old Mercury retrograde and other eclipses of note. And whether or not you believe in astrology is sort of a moot point. Again, you may judge the information as good or bad or right or wrong. It doesn't really matter. It's my awareness. It's just like weather. So it does affect us. Just the way the moon pulls the oceans in and out, the tides, and we being, almost 70% water. It's just common sense that we are part of nature and we are affected by the changes in the planetary weather. So my scritchy, scratchy energy could have something to do with that, maybe. But I also think it has to do with the fact that I started sharing my magic again. I started putting myself out there. I've been in the cave for the last few years, developing my Bright Rights beauty methodology to help women of all ages activate the higher self beauty effect and live outside the confines of time. So that is probably part of the scritchy energy. So I've got more visibility, which if you are intuitive and you're sensitive, then that's a lot of data coming in, right? I can sense people's feelings. I can sense the judgment that I get for what I share, because most of what I share is really counterintuitive to what is taught and what we all think. So that could be part of it. The other part of it is I started a workout program. I just found myself working from, my desk a lot and not getting the exercise that I wanted to get. And I decided I wanted to release up to 10 pounds this spring and summer. Notice I said release. Words are very important. Your word is your wand. That's why they call it spelling. And so I'm not trying to lose weight, because I will be subconsciously already programmed to find anything I lose. This isn't a game of hide and seek. This is a willingness to release. So I started this awesome workout and eating plan. It's called Faster Fat Loss. And there's a little intermittent fasting, there's hormone stuff, and suffice it to say, I've been moving my body a lot more and I have been eating differently. So that's another reason why my energy got scritchy, because I'm releasing, right? My body is already starting to change. I'm also doing a breath work. I'm in a breath work like coaching program, and that has also activated a lot of things. So I share all of this because it's helpful to know that if you identify as being sensitive on any layer or level, and you might not even know that you're sensitive, and you might have misidentified and misapplied the word sensitive as a bad thing, and we can talk about that at a later date. But when you change things and when you try something new, it could disrupt your system a little bit. Additionally, I'm always researching what's going on in the world of beauty, and I did some face taping because everybody was doing the face taping. So I'm like, I'll try some face taping, and I've created a little bit of nuances with what I learned out there and tried some different things, which may work for some people, but it didn't work for me because my skin is really sensitive. And so it created this whole rash right here where I was taping my eyebrows. So all of this combined, the rashes I've got a rash on my face. I've actually got a rash on the trunk of my body from releasing emotions, weight, being more visible, all these things that I'm mentioning. And I have total acceptance for it. I'm not trying to get on here and pretend I'm anything different than what I am. And, there was a time in my life that I would have just gritted through and, had some little pattern and just try to be extra, extra professional. But I have released that belief that I can't be authentic and professional at the same time. And as it pertains to our skin, my skin, I just wanted to share that I have total allowance for the rash. I'm not trying to change it. I'm not trying to put a salve on it. I'm not trying to run up to my LED light and have the LED light take it away. I just am allowing myself to experience my skin shedding. Our skin is part of our excretory system, so it is part of our digestive system. That doesn't mean that my gut is off, that I have a rash on my face and on my trunk. I know that my skin is releasing. I know that everything that I've been going through and just feeling kind of like I'm going through an up level, guys. That's what it is. And so I have total allowance for my skin. I have total allowance for the rash. And I wanted to share that with you because that's a big part of being skintuitive, right? Being skintuitive is the art, science, and magic of communicating with your spirit and skin. And so by me really just talking to this rash, seeing what its qualities are, being very extra gentle, just using my most gentlest facial oil, being loving to my rash, not doing the things that were irritating, like the tape on it anymore, looking at my diet and seeing if there's anything that is irritating me. This rash is going to be gone by tomorrow. I already know the cycle. So it's been here for about 3 days. I wanted to share that with you in case that's something that can help you. That's an ongoing conversation around reading the conditions of your skin as messages. Okay. So we had that. And then yesterday I posted a rant on the Facebook, and I actually then screenshotted that all up and put it over on Instagram as well. And it is very low performing content. I think I might have gotten 1 like on Instagram, and I posted it hours ago in the morning. So, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, and I don't need to know what it means. And that leads me to what we're going to talk about next, which is this rant, and back to the subject of today's class, which I'm sorry if it's a little all over the place, but I'm just following my own energy, and I find this very important to share. And I'm hoping, actually, I'm going to cancel, clear, delete the word hope. I'm intending that these messages reach the people that they're meant for. And if they're not for you, then you probably aren't watching anyway. So it's all good. But the rant was about it was titled Real Talk. I sent an email to my list as well. Real talk about the state of skin. And this links back to the title of this video, which is Going Out of Our Mind and Into the Heart of Beauty. And this whole session is dedicated to this. And in terms of the skintuitive, like facial activation, we'll do that at the end, so that will still be happening. But let me just kind of keep downloading this and sharing it and talking it out, having a conversation with myself right now in Zoom. But it only takes one person to be listening and to be receiving my words, and then to share it with her friend or her daughter or her sister or her mother or her aunt. And then it gets shared and it gets shared. And in that way, we can break down all of this prison of information and what we think is true about beauty. Because like I ranted in the beginning of the video, it doesn't work. So the state of skincare and beauty, I spent, there's all these Facebook groups, and I'm sure Instagram groups and different forums around skincare. And this is kind of funny because I actually live in a very rural town called Mendocino. And in the 90s, when the internet was first invented, I got my first computer and I was on the dial-up, and I realized that the internet could be my window to the world. And so when I first became an esthetician, I joined up on these MSN message boards called Esthetician to Esthetician. And we just became this powerhouse group of women. And a lot of us are still really good friends. Some have gone on to do gigantic things in the industry. Some really amazing skin professionals that I have a very high regard for. But that's just to say that the power of a forum and of a message board and of community is so important, right? We know community is so, so important. And I really give credit to that community for putting me on my path, allowing me to really have an inside window on so many things. And it allowed me to become the top esthetician in the country. It allowed me to work for this, very famous skincare formulator, etc., because of the connections. But this group I'm in now is on Facebook, and I joined it with the intention to do some research and development on what women were struggling with, to create language, copy language. And, I'm really just trying to ramp up my business and sell more products and all of these things. And so I'm doing all this market research, but I'm not in this group to sell myself. I was never in the group. In fact, I never pitched my products or my services one time in this group. And, maybe I should have, but I was really just there with the intention to serve and listen. So 3 months I was in the group with the notifications on, and every single time that there would be somebody that would come in with questions or concerns about skin routines and things, I would show up and serve with what I knew. And I didn't lead with all of the energy stuff. I really tried to meet them where they were and give my, muggle skincare facts. And it just started becoming facts and facts and facts. 20% L-ascorbic acid, this 20% retinaldehyde. You got to have the 0.5% retinol. You got to do this microneedling because it creates this much collagen. Just cherry picking data out of basically the oldest information I could even imagine thinking of. Remember, I've been at this for 20 years in the skincare industry, 40 years just in the beauty energy. But this information is old ass information, number one. It's the stuff we were talking about in the professional skincare field 20 years ago. So that in itself is kind of awkward. But more than that, that's fine. Things work, they work. Nobody is getting the skin of their dreams, okay? Some people have beautiful, lineless, unmarred, perfect skin, and their retinol is working for them, and all of that is working for them. Yes, there are those people that have a very plastic, that sounds judgmental, a very just poreless, almost look, and who knows if everything is filtered, just very beauty standard skin. There's a few of them out there. I only saw probably the owner of the group as having that kind of skin, but that is the aesthetic, and that is what everybody is going for, right? It's that smooth, perfect, no lines here, of course. Everything is very lifted. It's an aesthetic. It's a very, I think it's a distortion. That's a whole nother subject, but that is what the women in this group were going for. It wasn't necessarily around, skin health or anything to do with wellness. It was really about skincare science, microneedling, acids, and all of the things. So be it. It's not my way of practicing skin, but I was not judging of it. I just was in there to serve and serve and serve. So I did. I served and served and served for 3 months with notifications on. And after the 3 months, and actually this happened last week, that I decided to leave the group and write what I found about it. And what really hit me and what really sank in through the experience was that it's all of the facts and the information and trying to reason your way to an aesthetic ideal. And there's no way we can do that. We can't do it, because what works for one person is not guaranteed to work for everybody. So it's like every single person on earth, if they are interested in the cultivation and the practice of a facial massage and skin formulas, skin care, has to create the ritual or the routine or the regimen that is appropriate for them. And it can't come just all from one brand, most likely. And you're not going to be able to get perfect skin. Well, actually, you might be able to reason your way to perfect skin. You probably could if you really had a kick-ass esthetician who was telling you exactly what to do. You were getting facials and you were working with somebody who was coaching you. But if you're on your own and you're in trying to get the Retin-A's and the snail mucins and all of the other completely cuckoo trending products out there, which, maybe are good on one hand, but are mostly smoke and mirrors on the other hand, none of that is going to help us have a relationship to beauty, which brings me to the awareness that not everybody wants to have a relationship with beauty. So there's a question for you. Do you want to have a relationship with beauty? Is that something that you want? And I'm going to pause there and let you think about that and make sure that this is all let me just text my virtual assistant really quick to make sure that my volume is on, because I got a new microphone. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm here. Okay. So going out of our mind and into the heart of beauty. So the first thing is that you have to decide whether, do you want to be beautiful? Is beauty important to you? Do you know what beauty feels like? Beauty can look like anything. But have you ever thought about that? Because skincare isn't beauty necessarily, and beauty has nothing to do with skincare. The fact that I have my own line of skin nutrition products is, well, I started with that, and things have evolved past that. But the product is only one leg of the higher self beauty effect. You still need, so that's the skin nutrition, the skin intelligence. If you imagined a Venn diagram with the 3 circles overlapping, you've got skin intelligence, which is skin nutrition and physiology and biology and all of those really good, that's good information to know. You got that. And then over here, we've got energy illumination. That is like our microcurrent machines. That's the vortex of light, the frequencies, the etheric frequencies that I share. It's the LED lights, it's all manners of, audio frequencies, it's energy illumination. Lots of things that can go into that. circle. And then the most important circle, which I haven't even gotten around to telling you about in these intuitive sessions yet, is the self-image. So I believe this is actually a great way to introduce the concept of our self-image as being probably the most important aspect and pillar that you need to develop and have a relationship with if you desire to have an experience of beauty. Yeah, so your self-image is like that inner image you have of yourself. It's your self-reflection. And it's absolutely the reason why we see women go through distorted beauty when they start getting too much plastic surgery. Like if you look at Madonna, I absolutely believe she's suffering from something called perception drift, which is where I think she also is in my beauty energy archetype system. She's the artist. So she is the, she's the unappreciated artist in my system. And of course, we know she is an amazing artist. But that's not beauty, that's modification and that's distortion. And I believe that that's happened to her specifically because she's lost track of her inner image and her inner, she's not programming it from the inside and allowing it to radiate out. She's trying to break the mirror to change her face. She's trying to change herself from the outside. And that's what happens, the perception drift, when your outside image and your inner image have no relationship to each other anymore. You've got a distortion field. So I don't want that to happen to you because it causes so much suffering. It is so, if you know how painful it is when you look in the mirror and think, oh no, I wonder if my husband will still be attracted to me, or oh no, I see these changes happening rapidly and my friend just got a little work done and it looks so good. Maybe I'll just do a little, we all know how that feels of like, I'm not enough and this isn't enough. This doesn't look good. I know because I went through that. That's the reason I'm so passionate about this. I did the Botox, I did the injections. I was running on facts and information, and you got to fight the good fight, and all of, the collagen decline after age 40 and da, 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 da. And just trying to stay on this hamster wheel of information and not having any connection in with my heart, my higher self. So the self-image is what we need to develop if you choose and if you desire to have a relationship with beauty. And I can absolutely help you do that in so many different ways. And at the end of this video, I will talk more about those ways, but just off the top of my head, I am hosting a retreat in St. Lucia, of all places, a magical island with 2 volcanic spires with special waters and special muds right on the Caribbean Ocean, and in a magnificent 5-star resort called Calabash Cove. And I will be leading a group of 20 women through the Bright Rights activations and the Bright Rights onboarding. And so you have all of these tools and you really, really start to understand how to program your self-image on a daily basis. And that right there will be a game changer. And then you'll be free and you won't have to care about all of the information. So let me leave you. I said I wasn't going to share any more facts, but here's something that I want you to consider. And I'm still going to have to share things that are relevant to this and that are not just about selling you something or confusing you with different things. But this is something that's very important. And this is really actually another reason why practicing beauty this intuitive way is the best way. Because if you are trying to think yourself through a routine and the face yoga of this and how to do that and remembering and trying to use your brain for all of that, you're going to be fatigued. You're just not going to, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be joyful. You're not going to have that beautiful, energetic frequency running when you're doing it. And part of the reason why you're already tuning out the majority of the information that you hear, and just being selective with what matches your worldview, is that we are taking in an enormous amount of information every day, and it is making us sick in a lot of cases. If you're highly sensitive and you don't know how to use your sensitivity as a superpower, you could be suffering with all sorts of fatigue, stress, rashes, headaches, depression. All sorts of things come from this overstimulation of information. So consider that 500 years ago, the average educated person was consuming 70 gigabytes of information in their lifetime. So that is an educated person who had access to books, who was, learned, 70 gigabytes of information in a lifetime. And now, in today's landscape, digital landscape, we're consuming, and it is a consumption. This is content that you're consuming right now. You're now consuming that in each day, probably more actually, 70 gigabytes a day. And so 500 years ago, it was in a lifetime, and now that's in a day. So there's a lot of advantages to getting out of your mind and just into the heart of beauty, because it's going to make you feel a lot better. You don't have to learn your way to this. I don't want to teach. I want to teach you things. I'm a really good teacher. I have the best damn facts in the world, and I love my big brain. I mean, I'm pretty, I can get addicted to my own brain and knowledge and mind and all of that just as much as the next person, but it's stressful. It's not necessary, because you can develop the bone, you can develop the muscle of being able to use your skin tuition, to choose products, to choose the practices, and just develop the self-intimacy and develop self-trust. And I really think that that's at the heart of why my methodology maybe hasn't taken off, in droves, and it hasn't swept through the nation, is that it does require self-trust, and it does require self-investment, and it does require self-intimacy. Do you notice what I'm saying there? It's all about the self, our self-image. So we can be the power and the presence of pure consciousness creating this all. And if you would like to acknowledge that you are the programmer of your own biology, and you're the programmer of your reflection, then anything is possible. And I'm living proof of that. I don't use retinol. I don't use microneedling. I don't use Botox. I don't get facials. I don't use fillers. I don't use sunscreen. A lot of times, I don't even do my skin in the morning. But what I have is an unshakable, energetic core. I have a practice of self-communication, self-intimacy, and self-trust. And I have maintained and cultivated my energy system as a sparkling well of circulation. And I have become a vessel for beauty. And that's not just me trying to brag or anything like that. I mean, I know I'm beautiful because I feel it. I absolutely feel beautiful. But this leads me to one more thing, one more awareness, and then we're going to do a little meditation together. This leads me to one more thing. What if I told you that you don't have to be beautiful all the time? Because it's not really about attaining an identity, and that has to be it. Though, of course, if you identify as being beautiful already, then you are. But it might take a lot of pressure off you to have a relationship with beauty when you realize that beauty is a muse. Beauty is an energy, and beauty is a frequency that you can become a match to and embody. You don't have to worry about that you weren't gifted beauty, or, it's not for you, or any of these things, or you have to work really hard to get that. No, all you have to do is become a vessel for it. How does it get even better than that? All right. So today, for this intuitive portion of this live video, I'm just checking the time. I am going to read something from the Radiance Sutras. And here we have the yoga of beauty. I've been talking about this concept of the yoga of beauty, really yoking and having communion with our mind and our body and our spirit. Yes, the mind can be there, but we don't want it to be the boss, right? We need to have the communion. This isn't just a series of exercises or something that we have to do, because if we don't do it, then we're not going to be good enough, or we'll have a saggy jaw or something. This is a whole different way of approaching beauty, where we play with it, we embody it, we allow it to be sensual. And sensuality is not just sex, but of course it is the energy of sexualness, because it's creation, and creation is both female and male, and there's a beautiful synergy that happens. And in fact, this whole book is a conversation between feminine and masculine energies. I highly recommend that you get it. It is in my Amazon store, and it is written by Lauren Roche, PhD, the Radiance Sutras, and it's the 112 gateways to the yoga of wonder and delight. So if anybody was wondering what I was talking about when I say radiant, it's not inflamed skin. It's self-light. It's the yoga of wonder and delight. Okay, I warned you I was feeling a little ranty today. So how I'm going to pick the sutra to share is I am going to choose the page at random, and then I'm going to read it, and then we will discuss. This is not really poetry. These are like living meditations. They're practices that can be all sorts of different things. So we can continue to dive into this book as time goes on. But for now, I'm not going to teach about it. I don't want to give you too much information. Let's let this be an experience and take it from there. Okay. So I know for sure that Mary Carr is on live, and I also think that my dear Wendy Pardini is on live. So I wanted to invite them into my vortex of light, and of course, all other viewers, both present and future. Let me just tune in to everybody for a moment. And thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable and to share what's on my mind, and without making it wrong or right. It's really important for me as an energetic to be able to express myself. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick something from the book at random, and we'll see what lights up for us today. Okay, so this is number 34. And I am not going to read I'm going to read the English translation as I work with the book, and maybe if I share more, I will also share the original text with you once I practice it a little bit, because I want to give the words their due respect and I want to feel them in my mouth a few times before I share them live. But here we go. Are you ready? Okay, so just go ahead and drop into your inner space and just exhale any tension you might be holding. And I had a nice little sip of water. And here we go. The air I am breathing was exhaled in ecstasy by an ancient sun. This earth I am standing on was born of cosmic fire. The blood flowing through my veins is as salty as the primordial ocean. The space permeating my body is infinite as the space all around. Above, below, to all sides within, the elements of the universe are engaged in their ceremony of delight. This is my religion. The attraction between suns is the same as the love pulsating in my heart. Beautiful. So this sutra, this tantric sutra, is all about our beating of our heart, the space around us, being made of the same elements as the sun and the salt and the blood, and being of nature. So go ahead and close your eyes and just allow yourself to enter into a very easy daydream, just following the sound of my voice, knowing that there's no right or wrong way to do this, but just taking a little exploration with me into the world of imagination. So we will engage our quantum computer, aka our imagination, and let's take a little trip to the shore. Maybe finding yourselves on the beach of St. Lucia at Calabash Cove, white sand beach, turquoise water. Just find yourself lying on a towel. You're the only one on the beach. It's early in the morning, sort of a dawn feeling, but you can hear the ocean's waves moving in and moving out. You can wiggle your toes in the sand and feel the texture, feel the grittiness beneath your toes, feeling the gentle morning sun starting to warm your body. Just lift your head up towards the sun. And you can actually lift your head up in your physical body as well as in your daydream. Lift your head up to the sun and just take in that morning, those beautiful morning rays. Just allowing the morning sunshine to regulate and activate all of your systems, knowing that the sunshine is pure light nutrients. Just letting go of any fears or points of views or limitations around what the sun is doing to our skin. And just knowing that you're in the right place at the right time, taking in the right nutrients. Just allow that sun to shine on your face. Tipping your face up. And now see if you can experience that sun as getting just a little bit stronger and really starting to penetrate into all of your whole entire body, just feeling it sort of washing over you. Maybe even layering in a memory of the last time you were on a beach and you felt that warm wave of warmth, that ecstatic feeling of complete comfort. complete freedom, just enjoying this now moment. And walk over to this crystalline, turquoise crystalline water and just slowly walk yourself into the water. And then when you're ready, just dive under, go all the way under. Just find yourself swimming and swimming in this crystal sea. And as you swim, notice that since this is a daydream, you don't need to come up for air. You can just swim and swim. You may see some sea life pass you by. You may wink at a mermaid. Just allow whatever images naturally to populate. Don't force it, just swim and swim. But notice if you kind of look behind you that you're leaving behind a trail of bubbles. And somehow you know these bubbles aren't just regular bubbles. They're all the limitations and the separations and the computations and the conclusions you have around what beauty is, what beauty isn't, and if it's available to you. Just feel yourself being cleared and cleansed as the salt water completely dissolves and dissipates and relaxes and releases all of these misidentified and misapplied beliefs and points of views that just aren't true. Noticing that Mama Ocean is just recycling this into pure waveform energy. So no worries, there's nothing toxic here. It's just time to let it all go, just allowing that salt water to completely cleanse you. And then I want you to start swimming in a figure 8 underneath this crystalline blue water. We'll complete our daydream with a few rounds of swimming in a figure 8. Maybe noticing that your energy is starting to pulse in your own body now, in your physical body. And you can swim back to the shore, walk out of the ocean, feeling lighter and brighter than you ever have. Feeling just, like all is right with the world. Even the hairs on your arms are just standing up and prickling a little bit with pleasure as you receive all of the nutrients from the sun and the sand and the sea. And whenever you're ready, you can find yourself back in this time, in this place, in this space, completely regenerated, completely renewed and cleansed. I feel a ton better. I hope you do too. And so now let's just do a little neck stroking. You can put some oil on if you'd like, or you can just use your hands. And let's begin to open up our neck. And whatever feels good, I want you to work on your trapezius muscles here, holding up that big, beautiful head. Just really embracing this face up lifestyle. Balancing all of the phone checking and the computering and the concentrating. Just balancing that all out with some squeezes on your neck. Go ahead and squeeze the back of your head right here, the sides of the ears, just pressing. Using the heel of your hand, the heel of your palm to just kind of create the superhighway right here. Pressing and melting, pressing and melting. Now, we don't do this intuitive massage so that we can have less wrinkles, We don't do it so we can have less dark spots. We don't do it so we could be more valuable, so we could be perceived as beautiful by somebody else. We do it to increase self-intimacy and self-intelligence. We do it to increase the cellular communication and energy within our skin. We do it to increase the connection that we have with the outside world and with the inside world. This is the barrier, right? We've got inside and we've got outside, and the skin is the way in, and the skin is the way out. So just remember to bring that awareness to this party. All right, so I want to get right under here. Just with your thumb is fine. And you're probably already feeling a little of your lymphatic fluid starting to be stimulated and start moving. Now, our lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump, but it pumps with movement, right? So that's the tapping and the stretching and the movement. That's why exercise is so good. And I apologize for every time I move, my camera has to focus on me. Oh, technology. So just thumb under the chin. Just kind of do some circles there. Don't get, under the jugular, but just right here. How does that feel? Kind of wiggly, Is this kind of an area that you've never touched before? Intention. I had no plans to come here. This is just what has presented itself. So that's what it means to develop this intuitive awareness, is just to go with the flow, go with the glow, more flow, more glow. So I'll take 2 thumbs. And just kind of get underneath the bone here. Just get to know underneath the bone. And then I'm coming up underneath my ear. These are some very prominent lymph nodes here. Let's go ahead and it's good to know underneath your ear and underneath your jaw, and then walk your fingers back, and we're going to go underneath there. We want to bring some circulation, some fresh energy and fresh nutrition to underneath the bone. So without having to be a skincare expert, you don't need to be a fascial expert. It's like your body, you know what I mean? As long as it feels good and it's increasing joy and energy, you know how to do it, okay? So just go ahead and do what feels good. And when you locate areas of tension, which I'm sure we all have right here from the tensing and grinding and concentrating, just go ahead and press here. And let's do some pressing and melting. So that's like pressing down, like you were gonna, give somebody a massage, kind of firm, like 1, 2. But then don't apply any more pressure than that. Now just use your energy to melt the stress and tension away, and see if you can put all of your awareness into these pointer fingers. And even imagine, using our quantum imagination computer, imagine that we had healing laser lights coming out of each index finger. Go ahead and press and melt. just infusing all of your cells, all of your molecules, all of your mitochondria with this divine source energy. Continuing to flood this area and with this light coming out of your fingers. Gathering in intensity. I'm holding this for everybody also. And then release. Ooh, so that was pretty strong. Let's do a couple more areas and that will wrap it up for today. And so let's pick, with my activated fingers, I'm just going to let my fingers pick. Right here. The very top of the nasal labial fold, right here where there's kind of this padding. This would padding. Press in. Firm but gentle. Now let's just press and now let's melt with our light and our energy. Imagining that your fingers have laser beams of highly charged, etheric, healing, source energy, light coming out like little laser beams. And release. Woo! Okay, so this isn't messing around. This is, energy is nice and strong. All right, let's see. Where else should we go? Okay. Right here. Right here. Actually, we'll do the corner of the mouth and then we'll do here. We'll do this whole section. Okay, so right here at the corner of the mouth, press in. And I'm actually going to go up underneath the cheekbones a little bit and get my Joker look going. Press and melt. Press and melt. And then when you get a good rhythm going, just activate your laser beam. Dissolving and dissipating, relaxing and releasing, and returning this entire area back to its original program of perfection now. Down through all the layers, the levels, the lifetimes, the universes, the realities, and planes of existence of total ease. And anything that doesn't allow that, light matrix, clear, cancel, and transmute. All the stuck energy, all the stress, all this tension into super conscious radiance and high value worthiness. Woo! All right, release. Well, I'm feeling a whole lot better. That's the magic of this whole practice, is that it shifts. We're shifting, changing right now. I can guarantee if I looked at a still photo from the beginning of this video to now, there'd be a huge change just in the energy in my face, because I've expressed myself. So I've allowed that to release. I've witnessed my stress, my visible rashes. I've communicated, and then I've moved it, and I have self-appreciated. Appreciation is a very, very pure form of love. It's not the love you read about in marketing. It's not the love, it's not, I love this. It's a pure frequency of increase and value and treasuring and cherishment, adoration, and acknowledgement for oneself. Okay, so right here. Okay, press in, get your C fingers together. Press in. And when you've got your frequency activated, go ahead and press and melt. Using the light coming out of your finger, which you do have infrared light coming out of your finger. That's just science. I don't want to tell you the facts about it. You can find that somewhere else, but that's just the way it is. Activate your light and use it to dissolve and dissipate, relax and release, and return all of your cells, all of your molecules, all of your mitochondria and their DNA back to their original program of perfection now, down through all the layers, the levels, the lifetimes, the universes, the realities, and the planes of existence with total ease, and anything that doesn't allow you to know, be, perceive, and receive. Everything I have said as if by magic, light matrix, please clear, cancel, and transmute all of it into superconscious radiance now. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I've had a whole facelift with just a few moves. So that's the other benefit of this approach to beauty. Instant results. Believe it, breathe it, and receive it. All right. So I think that's it for today's session. Higherselfbeauty.com is having its happy hour sale. It's going right now. It'll be going for another hour or so until 5 p.m. PST. I'm going to try that out and see if people are responding to it and if people are shopping there. And so take advantage of that while that lasts. It's happening right now. Higherselfbeauty.com. I am doing the retreat at Calabash Cove. I would love to give you a 5-day total mind, body, spirit, skin reset and get to know you and personally activate these frequencies in you. There's lots of ways to work with me. You can find that on my website. I am highly accessible. This is my life's work. This is my dharma. So I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to be your higher self beauty guide. Thanks so much for joining.